May 12th. I'd like to welcome everybody. We have a special guest today. We have Joshua. He's going to go over real estate with you guys, and he's going to give you guys the tips you need and the knowledge you need to use real estate for your wealth and for your advantage. So on that note, Joshua, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. So first, let me just start by introducing myself to everyone. My name is Joshua Pizarro from Douglas Elliman Real Estate here in New York City. I am a New York City real estate sales agent. I was born and raised in the Lower East Side. 35 years, pretty much. A lot of neighborhood knowledge over here. And I now sell real estate in the neighborhood. What made me get into real estate was really witnessing the major changes that were happening in the Lower East Side. Like I started seeing, buildings, and I'm like, man, I'm interested, and I want to know what's going on there. It's just curiosity got me. So, leading forward, I had a friend who introduced me to his real estate company, small company in Brooklyn, just kind of like groundwork stuff. It wasn't really something that I was working, with them behind. So that took me into wanting to take my test, and I was like, hey, yeah, I'm ready to go to school for this, and I'm gonna say to the audience, $250 can put you into a industry that can potentially make you 6 figures. We have doctors, lawyers who go to school for 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, who pretty much make that kind of money. So $250 or $80,000 to $100,000 in school debt, I take $250. So that being said, being in real estate taught me a lot of principles of ownership, and working as an agent in New York City, you get exposed to a lot of wealthy people, a lot of millionaires, billionaire investors, and you learn a lot. One of the major things I learned was the principle of ownership. Principle of ownership meaning real estate ownership. Real estate is the #2 wealth builder in the world. Next to stocks and bonds, real estate is #2. So unless you know somebody that's really good at the stock market, it'll be really hard for you to get into that industry. But real estate is a little bit more easier if you understand markets and you understand the basic math formulas of how to property evaluate, and even just for yourself. We have rental properties that you can get into when you do know these formulas. So let me just teach you a little bit about the principles of ownership that I learned. And this is going to coincide with the ownership of multifamilies and rental units. All right, so right now we're sitting at a 20-year low for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers, we're sitting at about an interest rate of, I'm going to put this out there, but 4.5. 4.55 fluctuates on a weekly basis or a daily basis, I believe. So that being said, 4.5 to 5%, we're talking about you only have to put down $4,000 to $5,000 for every $100,000 you borrow, and this is leveraging out your credit. I teach leveraging out credit because a lot of us, we may have good credit, and the first thing we do is purchase a car, and that's a big no-no for banks, especially when you're going out there and you're trying to get a real estate loan or a property loan. And the reason why I say that is because banks look at that. They want to see what your debt-to-income ratio is. Debt-to-income ratio, give this out there, you can't pass 30% of what you make. So your debt, if you make $100,000 a year, your debt can't pass $30,000. If you have more than $30,000 of debt, it's likelihood that you're not going to get that property loan or that mortgage loan, excuse me. So debt-to-income ratio, 30%. You always want to keep yourself under that 30%. That is definitely major key. And banks do look at what you leverage out your credit for. So if you have credit card debt, school debt, car debt, again, a lot of us really like to buy cars, our first time purchase. So that's something I want to put out there. But let's just say you're going into your first time home purchase. You're like, hey, I really don't know what to do. Your real estate agent should have a network for you. So you want to look for a good real estate agent. You want to, if you have a referral base somewhere that you can get that information from, that would be great. But you want to start off with a real estate agent. And the reason being is because a real estate agent is going to create that network that you're going to need regarding your first purchase. That means you're a mortgage professional and your lawyer. I call it the money team, dream team. Those are the guys that guide you through your first time home purchase. So we got through interest rates, right? You're gonna leverage out your credit. We're gonna make sure that that credit is under the 30% debt to income ratio. And now we're ready for pre-approval. You get your agent. They're gonna sit you with a mortgage professional. The mortgage professional is now gonna go through all your finances. Usually they go through your tax return, your pay stubs, and bank statements. Those are mainly the things that they look for. And if you have any assets meaning any other properties, investments in regards to stock market, 401ks, they look into all that stuff. So where was I? Sorry. Oh yeah. So you're sitting with your mortgage professional, and you get pre-approval. Your pre-approval is your, hey, this is what you have to spend. So you can say, hey, I can afford $300,000, but on paper you can only afford $250,000. So that's what they're gonna give you. They're not gonna give you what you want. They're gonna give you what you can afford. So with that $250,000, now you're gonna go out with your professional real estate agent, and you're gonna look at properties. Now, two things: you either want a turnkey property or you want a fixer-upper. What I'm gonna go over right now is the formula for fixer-uppers. Turnkey, we're gonna get back into that. So pretty simple when it comes to turnkey, and I'll again touch base with that. But I want to get into a little bit of investment because I like for people to reap all the benefits. And when I say all the benefits, if you have a little bit of information out there, you can grab yourself a nice bad property. And when I say nice bad property, I mean when you look at properties and you see a really messed up piece of property, you look at it, you're like, no way. But that piece of property can be sitting on a $250,000 lot, but they're selling it for $100,000. Why wouldn't you look into that and see what it's going to cost you to maybe fix that up a little bit and still have a little bit of equity left there? So that's what I'm going to teach you guys right now, which is the property evaluation formula. 65 is the percentage number that we're all going to play with, right? So 65%. Well, actually, yeah, took that twice, but we'll just erase that. So 65%. 65% is the pretty much number that you don't want to surpass when you're investing into a property. So let's just say a property is worth, I'm going to make it fairly simple, 100,000, right? It's 100K. It's worth 100K. So what you don't want to pass on an investment for this piece of property right here is $65,000. $65,000 should be your all-in cost to purchase this $100,000 piece of property. So remember, this needs a lot of fixing. This is a $100,000 property, right? But it needs fixing, and this $65,000 is your magic number. But they're selling it for, let's just say, 40K. This is what they're selling for. So with that 40K, that leaves you about what? $25,000 to play with to fix this bad boy up and make it worth $100,000. So it's worth your money to now take this in. This is also available in first-time home purchases. So in some of these loans that you can get from FHA, they actually offer a renovation loan. So a renovation loan, I believe you can go up to $25,000. Don't take my word for it. You're going to sit with a mortgage professional anyway. But I believe it's up to $25,000 they will fund you for any renovations needed for a property that you just purchased. So you find this bad boy, $100,000 worth. You know you can't pass $65,000. So I give you $25,000 to play with. Now, with your real estate agent, if he has a healthy network, he should know some construction companies. Just those construction, you have foremans and those kind of networks. So he can introduce you to somebody that can potentially help you put that $25,000 in there and fix this bad boy up. So now you have $65,000 for a $100,000 property. And that leaves you about, what, $35,000 in equity value. Equity value is very important. Remember when I said buy and hold strategy? A buy and hold strategy is pretty much holding on to a piece of property and waiting for it to appreciate in value. So if you purchase at 100,000, but now that property is worth 200,000, you have 100,000 in equity. Get it? I just don't want to lose anybody. Just want to make sure. Because I know once you start getting into numbers, it gets a little confusing. But 65% of property of market value is what you don't want to pass. Now you're going to probably ask me, okay, Josh, how the hell do I get a market value? How do I get the property value? So property values are, again, through your real estate agent. Okay, you want these professionals working on your team. And if you want to do your own property values, absolutely. The way you go about property evaluation is what's called a CMA report, is a comparable market analysis. You're going to ask your real estate agent for a comparable market analysis. What a comparable market analysis is, this $100,000 home has 10 homes around him, right? He's in the middle of the community, but there's 10 homes around him. 5 of them were sold for 100,000. 5 of them are just being sold or being listed for 100,000, right? So that in turn is an average of what your comparable market analysis. Usually it's I believe it's the 3 to 5 most recent homes sold gives you what your market is worth. So if you had 3 to 5 homes that were sold at $250,000 within a 1 mile radius of your investment, that's what your market is worth. So with that comparable market analysis, we'll give you this number right here. Once you get the property evaluation, property evaluation number, now you know I can divide that by 65, and that will give me what I can't surpass. Get it? So like that 65%, you don't want to pass that. So that's how you get your comparable market analysis. That's how you get your investment. Now, turnkey. I want to talk about turnkey. So usually people don't really want to go into investment properties. Renovations, it takes some time. It's something that is, when I say costly, you do have to pay for your taxes every month, regardless if you're living there or not. So while the property is being renovated, you are responsible for the taxes. So it's a little bit of money out of your pocket, plus closing costs, etc. So some people just want turnkey. So I like to really, really push forward. First-time home buyers should really look at multifamilies. And the reason why I say first-time home buyers should look at multifamilies is because you're, in essence, sharing your mortgage costs with the market, but you're reaping all the benefits as the owner, right? So let's just say we decided to now take our $200,000 pre-approval, and we're going to go out to the market, and we want to buy a turnkey meaning no renovations needed. We're just going to go in, we're going to purchase, and we're going to rent, right? You're going to go out with your real estate agent, pre-approval. You're going to look for some turnkey apartments, and you're going to pretty much look at what your taxes and what your mortgage costs are going to be. So that's your overhead, depending on what market you're in. So let's just use Jersey City for example, because I have a friend who purchased in Jersey City. I always like to use him as an example because it's a real life example. So I had a friend live in Jersey City. He was paying $900 a month in rent for a 2-bedroom. Didn't own it yet. So I was like, hey, that's fairly steep. Why don't you look into a multifamily? A multifamily meaning, hey, leverage out your credit, see what the bank will give you. You now go out and purchase maybe a 4-bedroom, two bedrooms. He got really lucky. He was actually able to purchase 2 3-bedrooms for about $190,000. His $190,000 had an overhead of, I want to say, $1,000 in mortgage and $900 in taxes. So a total of overhead $1,900. What he did now is he now lives at the top, 3-bedroom, and he rents out the bottom. He rented out the bottom, I believe, was for $1,400 a month. And the way you do that, again, renting out, you don't have to go about this yourself. Everything can be done through your real estate agent. You can pick his brain apart. Your real estate agent should have all this information. And if he doesn't, you might want to look for another real estate agent. That's just being honest. But so what he did was he rented out the bottom, $1,400, and now he lives on the top for $500. And now the benefit of that is like, okay, he's paying $500 a month for a 3-bedroom. Not a lot of people can say that, especially not near New York City or in New York City or Jersey or anywhere for that matter.
Wait, and this in Jersey City?
Yeah, this was in Jersey City. This is a real scenario. Okay, so he's paying $500 for a 3-bedroom in Jersey City, and now what he does, he's accustomed to paying $900. Right? You're already accustomed. So I said, hey, listen, live like you're living on a $900 a month rent. You're collecting that money. Now you're saving it. Save. What he's doing now in next year is purchasing his second multifamily. So now he can move himself out of his first multifamily, purchase his own home, and those 2 multifamilies that he has now will be purchasing his home or paying for his home. So it's almost like real life Monopoly. You turn 2 homes into a little hotel, and then that kind of deal. And his overhead, like I said, was $1,900, $500, saving so much money. And these are not things that are really taught to us. And they're simple, like, again, 30% debt to income ratio, you can happily walk into the bank and say, I got good credit. Give me a loan. That's simple, 30%. Who knows that? You can go out and 65% property values. If your real estate agent knows the market well, he should be able to get you comparative market analysis. And 65% you should never pass. Okay, I mean, 70%, you can make your own judgment calls depending on how much money you want to make in the transaction. So those were some of the just small, there's a lot more. There's buy and hold strategies, there's land strategies, there's, rental, well, I gave you the rental income strategies. And buy and flip strategies, which they require a little bit more intimate detail. And I don't want to confuse you guys too much, so I do want to open up the table or the floor to some questions in regards to anything you've heard. But like I said, make sure that you're putting yourself in touch with a really good real estate agent. Even if you're not really ready to purchase, pick his brain apart. I'm here. I'm always willing to give out free information. That's why I'm literally here for the YouTube and the classes and whatnot. And I didn't learn all of this until I got into real estate entrepreneurship. Before this, I was 10 years in the post office. I was never taught how to own. I was taught to rent, my whole life. And most of us are. New York City, that's just the dynamic that we grew up in. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't own. Just because you're not taught it, the information is out there. And we're sitting on 20-year loans. If you have just a little bit of money, if you get a little bit of money in taxes, you can own property. I've had friends who took their taxes, perfect example, Jersey City kid, $8,000, and flipped it into, every month money. And he pays $500 a month. He's not stressing. Him and his wife are relaxed. They're not gonna stay there, but these are things that we all want for ourselves and our family. And I feel like real estate ownership can put you there. We were taught to run away from real estate as well because of the real estate crashes and everything that happened in 2012. And, the predatory bank lenders and everything, but that's no longer, a thing. With information, you can go out there and really make things happen for yourself. And with just a little bit of good credit, basic math, and if you don't have the money, $250, put yourself out there, make a couple of sales, and hey, you never know. At the end of the day, it's all about taking risks, man. Mindset is everything, especially in entrepreneurship, real estate ownership, and just in life in general, man. So, but any questions, please feel free to ask about, real estate and whatnot.
Actually, I'm curious. What would you advise to somebody who isn't in a position where they have no credit right now? They got cash.
Okay, so that's an awesome question because I get that a lot, and I'm one of those guys. I started building my credit about 2 years ago. I had terrible credit. I had owned 7 cars at the age of from 20 to 28. Why? Don't ask me. It was stupid. But I wasn't taught the financial sacraments. So what I would suggest is, 1, secure card. Okay, so a secure card is a card that you go to the bank and say, hey, I have $500, Capital One, I don't know, use whatever bank you decide you want to bank with. And you say, hey, listen, I'd like a secure card. I have $500 to open up a secure card. You're giving them $500. They're giving you a card in return and saying, hey, you're going to make monthly payments on this card. And if you don't, we're going to keep your money because you just gave them $500 for this card, right? So they're giving you a credit limit of $500 every month, and you're just Use it as credit card every month, even if you're going for a snack. And then let it sit there for 10, 15 days. Pay it off. Make sure you have the money there. Do that for about a year and a half, 2 years. It'll shoot your credit up. Keep on doing that. Making your payments on time, staying on top of that. I think the secure card is the easiest way. And the reason why is because, I mean, I would always say see a credit specialist if your credit is just like shot to crap. You know, I mean, yeah, no, I mean that because I mean they're gonna have to get calls. I have to do this. I mean, this is not like this. You're not alone in this problem. Okay, like 90% of America has bad credit. Don't get it twisted. You're not alone with this. It'll take you a little while, but setting a plan ahead is better than having no plan at all, right? And it's better than not having any information at all. So secure card, I think, is the easiest way. And if you need extensive credit help, see a credit specialist, they're worth it. It's worth every dime. Just think about a credit specialist putting you aboard a very luxurious boat trip, man. Because, you know, that's what real estate ownership is. It's going to put you there. Once you start, when you make your first purchase, it's going to become easier, right? Because like I said, the video game analogy, right? If you play your little brother more than enough times in the same video game, you're going to get better than he is. Hopefully. If he doesn't, he's getting better. You know, it's just all about knowing the rules. So absolutely secure card, you know, is your best route. And they start as low as $200, $250. You can do that. Okay. So, any other question?
What's the name of the certification?
For
You said for the $250.
Oh, so real estate sales agent certification or license. So you're a sales agent for New York City. $250 puts you through class, and you have to take a state exam at the end of your classes. It's like $15. And then once you pass your state exam, you have your license. And a lot of firms, I mean, real estate agents, it's a turning, you know, it's a revolving door. Not everyone is meant for it. But, you know, like I tell everybody, if you don't have the financial resources for it, that can really, you know, set you apart. If you have any kind of sales history, forget about it, dude. You can make a killing, you know. But $250, real estate sales agent license, you can get that done for a fact.
Where would you recommend buying a multifamily home in terms of protection as a landlord?
Okay, so protection as a landlord, I will say this: you're gonna have to look into every municipality you decide to invest in. As a real estate agent, we don't know law as far as we're not even allowed to talk about law, to be honest with you. And that's because that's why you have lawyers. That's why your lawyer is going to go in and make sure that everything, again, money team. Your lawyer is going to go in and answer any legalities that you have regarding that property. Any deed legalities, any taxes, any liens, anything. Your lawyer is like your guard dog throughout this whole buying process. So he would be the one that is going to be protecting your asset for the most part in regards to that property purchase. So it's important that you have a good lawyer. A lot of people, we get referrals from family lawyers, and not all family lawyers are real estate lawyers, and they F up, and boy, it's costing them money. So it's better off that you pay that $1,200, that $1,500 to get that really good real estate lawyer that has done hundreds and thousands of transactions, than to get that family lawyer that's charging you $200, but you're like, hey, that's Uncle Tom from whatever, New Jersey. But yeah, no, seriously, that's definitely important. Money team, you don't want to mess with that at all.
How was your first sale?
My first sale was by accident. Well, I'll give you my first 2 transactions. So my first rental, I started as a rental agent. That's how you work your way up the ladder. They don't want to start you with the big boys unless you have a really healthy network. But I started as a rental agent. This girl was an NYU student. I remember her name, Stephanie. So if you're looking at Stephanie, what's up? No, she was awesome. She had actually had some really, really bad experiences with 2 other agents. Just rude, just not kind people. And I was just really happy to have my first client. So I'm like, all smiles and let's go here, let's go there. And I'm just showing everything. And my first rental, she almost took a basement 2-bedroom that was the scariest thing in the world. Like, I didn't even want to learn it. I'm not even like, I was just like, I feel bad. I know I can find something better. But luckily we did. Accidentally, we went to the management company. They was like, no, don't take that. That's such a horrible apartment. And they gave us something better. My first sale was from a dental student. So I was looking with her for a 2-bedroom rental. Things didn't work out with the roommate, and she was getting frustrated with the process in New York City and rentals. New York City rentals go like that. Like, you can literally be here, walk out the door, and come back to applying and it's gone. You know, and she was getting so frustrated with that. And she actually talked her dad into wanting to purchase in New York City. One thing about New York City, if you have the money, I mean, I know not everyone is that affluent, but if you have the money, your money is very secure here. So dad agreed to purchase a small studio on the Upper East Side, I believe right next to United Nations. We found a really, really nice studio. She was a dental studio on First Avenue, so she had the First and Second Avenue bus right there. And it worked out. And it feels amazing because it was like, you know, you got to help. They weren't even from New York City. They were like from California or something like that. But it, you know, that was something that was just a blessing. But, you know, now sales are more, I guess, on purpose. And the reason why, because we're working directly with owners. Now we're helping them sell. We're bringing our information from the last 3 years to help them get the most out of New York City. Because believe it or not, we have owners here who don't know what their properties are worth. Because they've been sitting in it for 20, 25 years, not really realizing that they're sitting on millions of dollars. And they might be willing or ready to leave, you know, ready to go to Florida or the next step. So that's where we come into play. And all this property evaluation stuff comes into play. So that was the story of my first, the long story of my first sale. I didn't get your name. I know you were
Liza.
Liza. How you doing, Liza? But yeah, I don't know if you have any questions regarding real estate. I know you weren't really here, but we can kind of like catch you up a little bit. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Right now I don't have any.
Okay, cool.
But you can catch me up.
Okay, cool. So we just kind of really quickly, because I'm gonna give you like the rundown. We went over property evaluations. I'm gonna let you share some of the notes, but we went over property evaluations, debt to income ratio. So what banks look for in regards to your first home time, or your first home purchase, your debt to income. So if you make 100,000 debt to income, you can't have more debt than 30,000. So that's the debt to income ratio. We went a little bit into credit. If you're someone that doesn't have much credit, banks offer secure cards where you can go in with a couple of $100 and say, hey, here you go, I'd like a secure card. They give you that in return, and every month you use that card and you make payments, and that builds your credit for banks to see, hey, okay, she's serious, she built her credit, she lowered her debt to income ratio, we're ready to purchase.
What if your credit is not that good because of the past with credit cards?
Well, if it gets extensive, I always tell my clients to seek a credit specialist. And the reason why is because they're like sharks when it comes to getting things off of your credit history report. And believe it or not, they definitely help, you know, boosting your credit up. So definitely see a credit specialist. I mean, they range in price wise, but I mean, it's totally worth it. I mean, if you're paying $500 to fix your credit to purchase a home next year, I mean, your home is going to make you more than $500. So I would totally like press forward with that.
And you think it's better to get a house over here?
So I know New York City. So we live in a New York City dynamic where everything is $500,000 or more, and I totally get that. And this is why property evaluation formula is important, because right outside of New York City, you have Jersey City, you have Pennsylvania, you have Connecticut. Where short, or even Yonkers, Westchester, you have these little outside pockets of New York City. Like New York City, Manhattan is just a beast. Brooklyn, Queens, I get that. But if you look out a little further, you can make money. You know, at the end of the day, just look at it as like, this is an investment for you and your family. You know, you don't have to go to Florida or, you know, down south or anything like that. You can purchase right outside of the city and still have access to your families and everything like that. I'm a big fan of Jersey City, and those areas, they haven't blown up just yet. They will, because it was happening in New York City. And it's just gonna push the benefits. I mean, it's not gonna push the opportunity away, because there's always gonna be opportunity, but it's just gonna push it a little further out of New York City, you know? Because New York City is like its own ripple effect. It's like boom, and then it's like going out this way. Yeah, so I would definitely suggest Jersey, Pennsylvania. Those are great places. I've heard Baltimore is doing well, and it's only a few hours away. You don't have to purchase to live there, but you can purchase for rental properties. I mean, I heard properties are $50,000, $60,000. I mean, if you have a rental property in Baltimore that's $60,000, but it's making you $1,000 a month, that's worth your trip, your 3 hours to Baltimore. Check that out.
And what do you think about those places that the agencies that say that they'll help you if you're a first-time home buyer?
Yeah. So I was explaining to, thank you for bringing that back up. I didn't touch base with that. But so first-time home buyers program, we're at a 20-year low. Before, it would be the traditional 20% down for every $100,000 you borrow, which equates to $20,000 for every $100,000. Not a lot of people sit with $20,000. But now we're sitting at about $4,000 to $5,000 for every $100,000 we borrow. And like I was explaining earlier, was a lot of us get tax returns that equate to that, and you can take that and now leverage it out for a piece of property as a first-time home buyer. Some of the programs, you do have to live in the property for a year or two, but again, if it sets your family aboard, wealth, why not take that sacrifice for a year or two? Most of us make those sacrifices in jobs that we hate, so why not, New York City has taught us to always rent, and it sucks because it leaves us away from the ownership of real estate, which is where the real money is. Real estate is the #2 wealth builder in the world. Millionaires hold so much real estate in their portfolio because they understand the liquidation of it. If it's doing bad, I can sell it. If it's doing well, I can reap the benefits of it. If it's, if the property values went up, I can sell it and take now the $100,000 that I was saying. Like if I purchase at $100,000 in the market and now that market is worth $200,000, I can sell and I make that $100,000 profit. These are things that are being held back because the information is not given to us. And this is really, really, really simple math and putting yourself aboard, a plan. It's for good credit, get to income, get yourself a good real estate agent, and he's going to put you in touch with lawyers, bankers, and your money team. So,
based on your lay of the land and what you know in terms of properties, what would be a good amount of money that would allow you to work with somebody to purchase them a good?
You know what? I work with everyone. As long as, for instance, if you're not ready, but you're like, hey, in 2 years I want to be ready. This is the same thing that my friend did. We sat down, I gave him a rundown of what he needs to do, exactly what I'm doing with you guys. He did it. 2 years later, he purchased, and I helped him. I introduced him to a couple of colleagues of mine, real estate agents in Jersey City, and now he has the network. He was lucky enough because he was actually a bank manager, so he had a little bit of a network in regards to mortgage, but that's nothing. We can get you that. I mean, as long as your credit is good standing, I'm willing to work with anyone, and it's realistic. So, let's just say if you're going into Jersey City with, 200,000, I'm gonna say, hey, we can do it. But if you're coming to Jersey City with 50,000 pre-approval, it's not gonna work. You know what I mean? So I would definitely, sit with you and say, hey, this is what the bank is gonna look at. This is what they're likely gonna, offer you, and this is the markets that you should be in. And if it's not me, it's definitely going to be somebody of that market that is knowledgeable in that market. That's the good thing about working with Douglas Elliman. We have an extensive network of agents throughout the states. I mean, you can go all the way as far as California, San Francisco, and we have connections there. So you're not stuck to New York City network, for sure.
What's the name of the agency that you just mentioned?
Douglas Elliman.
Douglas what?
Douglas Elliman. Yeah. You'll definitely, now that I mentioned that, you're going to hear it a lot more because it's going to be in your face. $1 Million Listing, is anybody familiar with that? That's our company. Yeah, Frederick is actually, he works in my office. Really cool background. He's a big inspiration in my career for sure. So But yeah, man, it's fun, man. It's fun.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Like when you go to purchase a home,
Yeah.
like you said, it's like 20 years they spread out the payments.
Yeah, it's
If you wanted to pay more on the mortgage,
That's awesome that you asked that. So here's a good trick for paying your mortgage off. And these are things, again, that you're going to learn in more detail when you're sitting with agents. One payment extra a year can save you about 8 to 10 years on your mortgage. So if you have a 30-year fixed mortgage and you make one payment, so if your mortgage is $1,900, if your mortgage is $1,000 a month, and at the end of the year, you decide to pay $2,000. That $1,000, if you do that for I believe it's 5 years, or 2 years, you actually knock off like a big chunk of what you really owe, so it doesn't extend as 30 years. Another trick that you can do is actually pay your mortgage every 2 weeks. Banks don't want me to say that, but okay. Pay your mortgage every 2 weeks. What that does is saves you on interest. At the end of every month, if you wait till the end of the month to make your payment, you're paying at the highest interest level. If you're paying in the middle, boom and boom, you're no longer paying those high interest level percentages. And they're not high. I'm not saying they're not high. They're at 4.5. But why not save yourself 10 years, you know?
right?
And rather than sit there for 30 years, do it 20.
Right.
You
Is
know,
it possible to do it like every 2 weeks, but also to double the amount of the?
You can, absolutely. Listen, you are in no way, shape, or form stuck to 30 years. If you can pay that bad boy off in 10, pay that bad boy off in 10. That's only beneficial to you because now the only thing that you're paying is taxes and you're reaping all the benefits to your rental property. So yeah, definitely. I mean, set yourself, board of being able to pay that off.
And what about, like, let's say there's a home that is shown, do they send someone there to make sure everything is in working order?
Yes. So when you purchase a home, when you're purchasing, you're saying, right? Okay. So when you're purchasing a home, you do have an inspector that you pay for to make sure that your foundation is right, your panels and electricity, and this is just not a sitting fire hazard. Again, your money team, your lawyer is going to make sure that he gets the best inspector there is to go through your property. These are, again, your team is going to take care a lot, and it's great that you have these questions, but your real estate agent should absolutely make sure that you are covered from end to end with your team, and then your lawyer will cover everything end to end when it comes to the purchase itself.
So you need the real estate?
So your real estate agent is the heart of it all. And the reason why I say that is because we're the ones that have the network. I have the extensive network with other states. I have the extensive network with the mortgage professionals and the lawyers. Your real estate agent should give you at least 3 options of everyone. And you should do your own interviews and see who fits you best in personality-wise. Because not everybody is easy to work with personality. Some people suck. That's just being honest. You don't want a stupid lawyer that you don't get along with because that's the guy that's covering that asset. Mm-hmm. So make sure that you get 3 of every profession and then you do your interviews that way.
And you need what, the agent?
So it's an agent, the agent, lawyer, and mortgage professional. And if you need a credit specialist will be as well. Your agent should have that.
I missed, you said one extra payment a year equals, saves you how much?
It will save you anywhere between 5 to 8 years on your mortgage itself. So it's usually when you get a mortgage, it's a 30-year fix. It's rare that they 25. Some of them are 25, but most of them are 30 for the most part. Usually the 25 ones are you pay a little bit more. So instead of paying $1,000, you pay like $1,200 or something like that. But you can do that yourself again by every 2 weeks and making that one extra payment a year, and that will save you like a good 8 to 10 years.
Like one of the things we spoke about in finance class was adding an extra $100 to your principal every time you pay your mortgage. So they were like, if you add another extra $100 to your principal every time you pay the mortgage, that's another way to cut down on it. But it's almost like you said, you pay an extra amount that one time because it's going to be equivalent to paying like an extra $100 a month too.
Yeah. And what you're doing is just in essence putting the money back in your pocket and not in the bank's pocket. And 20-year lows, guys, like 4.55% are like, that's unheard of. You know, if you're anywhere near good standing credit, you should be saving, or putting yourself in a position to take your taxes and purchase your first time home for sure.
Yeah, is this a law that got passed that put it at such a low? Or
Funny enough, you say that, but with everything that happened in 2012 or 8, when the mortgage crisis happened, I wasn't in the game yet, so I'm just letting you know. But the mortgage crisis happened. It was these predatory loans that were given out. Predatory loans meaning you were paying $1,000 for the first 15 years, and then the last 10 years everything got jacked at $3,000 a month, and boom, I lost my apartment because my house that I can't afford $3,000. Used to paying 15 years for $1,000. So banks wanted to fix that problem. So they went in and they fixed the whole, the interest rates on what's going to cost you, and it's a 30-year fix. Like there's no back end. Like, all right, in the 15th year, 20th year, you're paying triple your amount. There's none of that. So that's why that even exists. And little by little it's going up because I watched it go from 3.5 to 5. So the guys that bought at 3.5 right now are in better position than the guys that are buying at 4.5. So for every percentage that goes up, that's another thing that needs to take into consideration. That's another, X amount of dollars that you have to put to get that loan, which might mess with your timing. So, right now the time is to jump in. You don't want to wait till it gets to 8, 10, 12. That's when
When was it at that level?
About 20 years ago. It was at I believe the highest was 18 or something like that. About 20. Yeah. But those are traditional now. Like if you have the money and you can go traditionally loan, there's less rules. So you don't have to live. If you have 20% down, you don't have to live there for 2 years. FHA requires you. FHA is your first time home buyers program that banks offer. Those guys, you need to live there for 2 years before you can sell. You can rent it. If you have a multifamily, you can rent it. Don't worry about it. That's why I always push your first purchase should be a rental. A multifamily so you can rent. Gives you the and not only that, this is your income every month.
Yeah. So. I had a friend. She bought a house and she rented the bottom. She lived on the top, and she paid her mortgage with the money from the rent from the bottom.
I was just telling these guys that I have a friend who did that in Jersey City. I love it. I enjoy seeing those stories because it takes that financial stress off of families. Where a lot of families, man, you take a lot of time away from your families to live. To do what to provide, which is work, 9 to 5, and all that stuff. If you had a replacement for that income, I'm sure you would quit your job and spend as much time as you can with your daughter and work for yourself, for your family, yourself. So real estate can do that for you if you do it the right way. It'll take some time, but just the same amount of time you'll be putting in that 9 to 5 is the same amount of time you'll be putting in your own ownership. And I'm hoping your audience catches that. Yeah. Seriously, because I think it's time for. I just want people to really get on board with the wealth building for their families, man. And it's simple, steps to it. And being here is just one of them.
Let me ask you something. For somebody, let's say I get a house and I want to rent it to someone. How can I find out and make sure that I'm putting the right person down there to pay me money?
Great question. And this is why you should always have a good real estate agent. I'm going to always keep on your real estate agent. So what we do is we go behind for tenants. So for instance, New York City has a standard for rental tenants. Rental tenants have to make 40 times whatever the rent is. So if your rent is $1,000, your rental tenant should be making $40,000 a year, should have a good credit score of 650 or 700 and above, whatever you decide as the landlord. And then not only that, but you also want to interview your tenants. See who's coming in there. Just because they have good financial standings does not mean you're going to be able to live with them. Mm-hmm. It's simple. It's people shy away from being a landlord because you just don't want to deal with other people, and you're also scared about having court and all that stuff. But if you sit and have human interaction with people, and you're a good landlord, people are going to pay their rent. People are going to pay. If you sit and you And for instance, and this is another thing, you can be a fix to the problem that everyone is complaining about. Everyone's like, oh God, rental is so much money and this, that, and the third. So become a developer, become a landlord, and be fair. You want to be fair? Then do that. Rather than rent it out for $1,400 a month, rent it out for $1,200 a month. Save that family $200. And believe it or not, you doing that, putting it under market value, will have your door flooded with people for you to choose from. So you don't always have to make bank. You could take your shorter steps for the long run and the relationships. I would rather have a 20-year tenant at $1,200 than a 1-year tenant at $1,600. It's the approach that you have on it. Human interaction.
Yes, my friend had a problem with that.
Yeah, no, it's real.
Downstairs. She was fine in the beginning.
It's right.
6 months later, all of a sudden, I have a little problem. I'm going to give you half, and then I'm going to give you half. And then the other girl would come in, and she's like, you know what it is? I'm having big financial problems. And she goes, okay, you have to at the end of the month to get me the total that you owe.
Yeah.
Before
But that's
the next friend is due, I'm going to have to tell you.
Yeah, listen, you want to build great relationships, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to be stern to your money. The same way if you're a friend from downstairs on the 5th floor, owe you $100, you're knocking on that door, yo, some of my money, right? So you have to treat people kind, but at the same time, don't be a walkover. If you have any basic human interaction with people, it'll get done. It still shouldn't steer you away from that one. Like, no way. She had like a bad tenant. I would never want to deal with that. That's not everybody's experience.
Have you bought property?
I have. Right now, I am on a buy and hold strategy, which I don't want to confuse the hell out of my audience, but agriculture is coming up as far as farmland and some things that are happening. So I purchased some land near some farmland. So it's a buy and hold. It wasn't expensive. Fingers crossed. I could lose my investment. Farmland could go to crap. Donald Trump could lie to us. Who knows? But it's paying attention to market trends, man. Being so deep in the game, like I'm not here for the quick, bangs. I see myself becoming a developer, so this is why I'm looking at like land and more open space. But don't get me wrong, multifamilies are next.
Okay.
I was telling him I'm in talks with my son. My son is in a great position, man. This kid's amazing. I like to brag about him. 16 years old, freaking straight A student, has 10 grand saved in the bank, and I'm like ready to help him invest in real estate. So that way by 18, he doesn't have to work if he doesn't want to. So
That's awesome.
it's definitely,
So, what are your thoughts on, because this was kind of big recently on some of the radio shows, what are your thoughts on wholesale?
Wholesaling. I don't have a lot of I do have a little bit of knowledge, but I don't have a lot of experience. So the knowledge behind it. You're selling home, you're buying a home, I'm the middleman. I'm gonna come to you, you're my guy, you're like, yo, I want to buy a home for $50,000. You're like, damn, I'm stressing, I can't get out of this. I'm saying, okay, sign here, I got a buyer for you for $50,000. You're gonna sign that. You're not signing over your home, so don't get scared. I'm gonna make sure that it says in the paperwork it's just a deed of sale. So deed of sale, now I'm gonna go here, take that deed, come to you, saying, hey, she wants to sell for $50,000, but you're gonna have to pay me $5 grand to get that $50,000 home. You're the middleman. You're making the transaction happen because you know her and you know him. That's what wholesaling is. Now, New York City, that's not allowed. You have to have exclusive agreements signed with owners. You can bring buyers to off-market deals. That's a whole other thing. I don't want to confuse you. Jerseys and suburban areas, very doable. You can literally knock on doors. Hey, selling your home? No? Okay. Hey, you selling your home? No? Okay. And people do it, and people are lucrative off that, man. Believe it or not, some people just want to get out of their homes. Some people are in a financial crisis that we don't know about. They owe money on their mortgage, and they don't want to get kicked out, so they may as well make $50,000, $40,000, $30,000, $60,000 on that sale before the bank comes in and, I'm done. And when you purchase, you also have to know what you're purchasing, right? So this person, if they're owing, they owe 3 months of mortgage or 3 months of taxes, really, because that's what they really care about. Mortgages, banks, they come in and they do their thing anyway. But mortgages, taxes, you want to make sure that that's taken care of. Tax liens are no joke. They don't care who owns it. They don't care if you own it. They don't care if you own it. They don't care if the bank owns it. They're going to get their money first. So taxes, you want to make sure that your lawyer clears that of all tax liens. They say it's clear of all tax liens. That's all you.
Also, so what are your thoughts on buying foreclosure properties and as opposed to like short sales?
Oh man, all right. So foreclosure and short sales, again, knowledge, no experience. So I just again want to continue putting that out there. But the knowledge behind it. Foreclosures are always they're high risk business, right? You don't know what you're buying, and in essence, you don't know what's. I have a friend. I'm gonna use him as an example, just for knowledge base. I have a friend who purchases investment properties in Long Island. So he purchases them via foreclosure or short sales. Purchased a short sale, went in to renovate, and there was a tenant in there. So if you're not familiar with that, just because you bought it in a foreclosure does not mean you can go in there and kick that tenant out. You actually have to either put in, go through the court, litigations, or you can offer that person X amount of dollars and hope that that person takes it. This person did not take it. They said $20,000, go F yourself, we're gonna drag this through court. 2 years. 2 years it took to get that tenant out because, again, you bought it in foreclosure. You didn't purchase, you didn't just purchase it from the bank or an investment that your agent found. You just kind of, went with the bank's foreclosure process and hoped that there was nobody there. And so, he got stuck with that and he was paid a lot of money. Lucky for him that he has some very successful investments before that, particular foreclosure. But that can set you back as your first investment. I would not jump into a foreclosure. I mean, excuse me,
but didn't they?
It's just high risk.
It doesn't go the same way as when you go to the real estate?
No, that's its own process. You're going through the bank yourself, and the bank doesn't care. They just want whatever is owed. They care less with foundation or who lives there or kind of electrical problems.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so as your first time home purchase, do not look into foreclosure just yet.
So can you just quickly explain what a short sale is?
Short sale it's similar to a foreclosure, but you're purchasing, I believe, is before the foreclosure process. So bank, let's just say person owes $20,000, bank is willing to short sale for 15, and just get the property off of their hands. So you're more so, again, you're not dealing with any agents or anything like that. You're dealing with the bank before it goes into the foreclosure and auction process. So that's kind of like what a short sale is. Those are okay. But I mean, as a first time home purchase or just first time investment, I'm always trying to steer people to, you can make a lot of money in short sales and foreclosures and stuff, but let's stay safe. Let's use the formula. Let's go slower. Let's use your real estate agent's network and use that all the way through, man. And you have your wholesale plan if you want to go wholesale, and you also have your 4.5 down first time home purchaser, and your sales agent. I'm trying to figure out how you can get there in regards to profitability. So you have wholesaling and you have as a sales agent to get you there, and you have your tax returns. So there's so many like avenues for you to get the money to buy your first time home. There's no real excuse, like 4.5. I'm sure we have spent over 5,000 on a lot more stupid things like cars and furniture, and I can go down the line. But yeah.
Any questions?
Good. Awesome.
So,
guys.
what do you recommend to first time, like people who want to get into business
as an agent?
Yeah, as an agent.
I would say While you're going to school, see if you can work for somebody and intern for them. And funny enough, I'm actually looking for interns. So if anyone out there is interested, please reach out to me. While you're in school, intern with somebody. They're gonna show you the ins and outs. That's why I opened up this little small. I want to take on 2 interns this summer. I do a lot of marketing and branding alongside of just real estate. I have a videographer, photographer, I have a whole team behind that. And I want to expose the younger, or maybe not even younger, just somebody that is hungry for knowledge and wants to get into real estate. I would say, while you're taking school, definitely work for somebody for free. Intern with them, knock on a few doors. You'd be surprised. A lot of people want to give these platforms or help out. That's how I wasn't shy, man. I came in the door, dude. I was like, everybody's just like, what's this? What's this? Hey, my name is Josh. Like, I wasted no time. So you definitely have to have a hunger for some knowledge.
What are you looking for in an intern?
So as far as an intern, it's just more so a willingness to learn. And not scared to step out of their comfort zone. So we have this fear of talking to other people, or public speaking, or just these little nuances of like basic human interaction. And that's just because we've been, put forward this technology of it. Like right now we have texting. You don't really have to have a conversation. It's just text. Or you could just send a voice memo and stuff like that. And that basic human interaction is being lost, which is you don't build these relationships. I don't know someone's charisma on a text. I know I can show a hell of a lot of charisma right here. Hey, how you doing? Like that basic interaction, it will set you aboard. You don't even have to be that knowledgeable in real estate. You could literally just be a human being and nice and be like, people want to do business with you. No.
Would you consider an intern that's not in school at the moment?
Absolutely. I have when I say school, I mean going to real estate school. Like they want to go to real estate school. I wouldn't want to take on somebody who doesn't really want to learn real estate or is just in there for the credits, because I know I can get college students who can get some credits off of just internships like that. But I don't want that. I want my time to be valuable to you, and vice versa. We're both learning from one another. So definitely work for somebody for free if I can give that piece of advice.
In terms of post sales, what team should you have around you in order to manage the new property that you just purchased?
So the first property, you don't need a management team, and that's a great question. You don't need a management team for the first property because you're only getting one tenant, right? And this is my own strategy. It depends on how comfortable you feel, how many people you want to deal with, right? If I own a building, I don't want to deal with 50 tenants as a landlord. Hell no. So no. Me personally, I'm gonna say at about my 4th to 5th property, I don't want to deal with tenants no more. So again, you're a real estate agent, should have a network of management companies. Management companies usually start at a certain amount of property. So some management companies take on 5, if you have 5 properties, take it and they'll charge you 10% of whatever your ROI is. ROI is rent on investment. Return on investment. Jesus Christ, I'm getting a little tired. Return on investment. So your return on investment, they're going to charge you a small percentage of that, but your headaches are out the window, right? I don't have to deal with maintenance. I don't have to deal with tenants. I don't have to deal with collecting money. That's peace of mind for me. I'll pay that. 10%, here you go. So for me, if I found a property management that can do 5 properties and more, cool. Usually they start about 10 tenants or more. So you're gonna get to that 5 to 10 tenant range where you gotta you guys are awesome, but deal with my management company.
Massive income.
Yeah. So you're definitely gonna use some of your passive income to pay for that, but it's worth it. Definitely worth it. So that goes through your real estate agent. Your real estate agent should have that network. Another thing, when you're looking for a real estate agent, And I hate to like knock the younger guys. I mean, the new dudes. You gotta look for somebody that's vetted and experienced. You know, it's the only way we built this. The only way I have this. The reason why I have this network, you know, ready for my clients is because I've dealt with investors. I've dealt with, you know, my first year I did 40 rental properties or 40 rentals. That's what got myself and my partner noticed by 37. You know, we put in the groundwork for these networks or these people. So make sure that you get a seasoned agent, someone who has done a lot of work, extensive work in whatever market you decide to invest in. And you can easily ask questions. I mean, it's fairly simple questions. How many transactions have you done in this market? How many sales do you have in this market? How many years of experience do you have? What's your marketing plan like? You know, things like that.
So what do they mean when they say, let's flip this house?
Flip this house. So
property.
Flip properties are this bad boy right here. So what I can do, right, if I decided that my first time home purchase, I don't want to live, I just want to flip it and sell it. I can. But you're going to use this formula right here. So again, if I'm going into a market that's worth $100,000, but they're selling it for $40,000, and he needs $25,000 in renovations, that's going to put me right at that sweet spot, $65,000. But I know this is worth $100,000. So what I'm now going to do is after it's renovated, it's going to take about 3 to 6 months. I always tell people, expect 6 months of renovation. And the reason why, a lot of things come up that we just don't know what that wall is hiding. Right? So that you want to make sure that you have a reserve fund. A reserve fund. So a reserve fund is this money right here is what's going to pay your taxes, your mortgage, and any miscellaneous costs while this place is being renovated. That's your reserve money. So if you know your overhead reserve monthly is $1,000, and this bad boy is getting renovated for 6 months, you know you have to have a reserve of $6,000. Damn, I'm sorry, it's just terrible. $6,000. That's how you do the math on your reserve. Making sure you know what your overhead costs if you were living there, and making sure that overhead cost is paid for. So you want to take that into consideration. That's $6,000 into this 65, into this 25,000 right here. And this 6,000 is your all-in cost. Right, so now this might push it to 71%, but it still allows you to make $29,000 on the sale price. So if I decided to sell this bad boy, so like my all-in cost $65,000, right? This is worth $100,000. If I put this at $95,000 in that $100,000 market, I sold it. You know why? I'm not hungry. I don't need the whole $100,000. I'm willing to give you $5,000 off and make $30,000 on the end. See, 65, this is my all-in cost. Anything above $65,000, that's profit. If I decided to sell for $90,000, I still need $25,000 on this buy and flip. So this is why you want to use that 65. 65 is like your magic number. Like if I could stay at that 65 or under, I can make a lot of money on this property. And it also gives me a lot of money to play with in the renovations. Some properties may need more. This bad boy may need 40. And this pushes it to 80, and that's too risky for me. 80% only giving you 20,000 in there to make. Nah, you gotta worry about these all-in costs and all that. Nah. 65 is your number. So buy and flip properties. This is definitely the formula for it. So reserve count, 65% of market value. And you weren't here for this $100,000, but when you get this, you're a real estate agent. Your real estate agent, whenever you're out there searching at fixer-uppers, should be able to tell you, hey, this market right here sold for about $100,000 this last 3 homes. So if you fix this home up, I can get you $100,000. So that's how that works. So the same thing, buy and flip would be the same as you coming in and renovating your own multi-family or whatnot.
Yo, how do you get your clients? Is it mostly referrals?
So I'm at a point where I do a lot of marketing. These things right here, obviously Marty's gonna help me out with, taking some of this video, chopping it up, putting it on Instagram, YouTube, all that, alongside with my, my network, which is my 40 rental clients. I'm constantly making phone calls to owners who are potentially selling, which is a list within itself. This is, again, you're gonna learn all this if you decide to enter and proceed with a career in real estate. Your agent or your mentor should teach you how to cold call. You're gonna reach out to owners who are selling, multi-million-dollar apartments and say, hey, as a sales agent, I know X, Y, and Z. I work for Doug Sullivan. I can get this home sold for you. Would you be willing to sit with me? Somebody's like, a lot of times they hang up on you. You just have to be very persistent. There's a persistence factor. After a while, it's like, Josh, again? Really? Bro, I'll meet you. 3 o'clock, goodbye. Click. I'm okay with that. It's just persistence over resistance. Because when they meet me, then they realize, oh, damn, okay, this kid has a lot of charisma. He knows his stuff in New York City, Lower East Side area. It's nothing you can't tell me about. Just something I don't know about. I know all the developments that are coming up in the area. I know what, per square foot is. I'm detailed in this bad boy. And that's just growing up over here. I realized growing up in a neighborhood is actually a value within itself, especially in the Lower East Side. The Lower East Side is, we're due to outperform, we're like number 5 in the world in neighborhoods and development in neighborhoods, which is crazy in the world. Lower East Side, this little bad boy down there. So it's like, for me not to see the opportunity in it and not to chase it, I would be foolish. As a young kid growing up here, 35 years, I've seen this place come from crap, literally crap, like a horrible neighborhood, to one of the best neighborhoods to live in. And people, I hear gentrification a lot. I hear that. I mean, as a kid, I see both sides of the fence, right? I grew up here, and then I see, these developers coming in and putting multi-million-dollar apartments across the street from the projects. But what we're not talking about is the dynamic and the opportunity that these people are bringing to us as a whole, as a community. If we were to reach out and talk to that person in the coffee shop who owns the penthouse in that multi-million-dollar building, and you made that relationship now, and he's ready to do business with you in your flower shop, that can take you to the next level. Basic human interaction is what we're missing in the opportunity. We see people kicking us out. No, I see opportunity. I say, hey, Bob, hey, Jerry, hey, Lewis, hey, whoever. I've been here for 35 years. Is there anything that I can offer you as your real estate agent here? I'm a neighborhood kid. I don't mind saying that. You're gonna see me here regardless. You're gonna see me in my regular hip hop clothes, and you're gonna see me in my suits. So there's no need to hide who I am. You introduce yourself to everybody, and that's what the dynamic is coming down there. We have theaters, indoor malls, 4 towers, not even buildings, towers being across the Water Street, area. And people are like, oh, well, there's not gonna be any housing, there's not gonna be this and that. Well, if you seek the opportunity over what's going on, you can set yourself aboard to reap the benefits that the neighborhood has to offer. These are things that we can't stop, regardless, guys. New York City's gonna do what they want.
So when you see the towers going up, do you look at it and be like, wow, properties?
Yes, believe it or not. And this is not, a sales thing, greed thing, anything like that. I see a neighborhood that came from nothing to a neighborhood that everyone wants to live in. And I do see how it hurts business 100%. This is why I also, outside of being a real estate agent, I also am a part owner of a small media company. Our media company helps small businesses brand themselves in the neighborhoods via YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. A lot of these business owners really don't know how to take advantage of the dynamic that's going on over here. They don't know how to brand themselves. Technology is fairly new. This is about 8 years old. And we're talking about 25-year business owners. So, this technology is just like, holy crap, it's taking over, and what do? I've talked to business owners who are going out of business because of it. And it's not really because, buildings are going up and rent is going up. it's really because there's not a lot of branding going on with that business. They're so used to that everyday client and that referral, hey, mom and pop's flower shop. But the reality is what we're not doing and what they're not taking into consideration is time. People want to save time. People want to be able to order their stuff on Amazon, Google, Instagram, whatever makes it easy for they don't have to go outside and just have it delivered. Something as simple as a website and a search engine optimization, which is like you can hire somebody for $200 a month and a web developer for another $200, $400 a month to run this, small website for you, $400 and a month, and it'll get you an ROI of $1,000 to $2,000 of profit, just because now you're offering a delivery service that not other businesses are offering. So I'm a big fan of looking at everything around you as opportunity, not as like a negative thing. So that's why when I hear gentrification, it bothers me, because I know it's spoken by people that don't really understand the industry. I'm in these rooms with developers. Don't get me wrong, some of these guys aren't the greatest people in the world, but some of these people just genuinely love what they do. Like, they love being architects, building buildings, making all glass. Like, picture a kid who grew up playing Legos now being able to build on New York City. You're gonna tell this kid not to play in the sandbox because, this is our neighborhood? Well, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. We just have to deal with what's going on and seek the benefits in it,
What would you say about other areas in New York City that might experience a similar level of development?
Well, it's happening. It's happening. I see Bronx. I see Mott Haven. I see Highbridge. I see, that concourse is no longer Village Concourse or something like that now. I see around Yankee Stadium. And again, guys, the benefit of the dynamic that it's bringing to the Bronx. Guys, I don't care what you say. In the 90s, my cousin lived on Southern Boulevard in East Tremont, bro. All right? I hung out up there. It's no joke. It's a war zone. I don't know about y'all. This beautiful little girl, is that your daughter? You don't want your beautiful little girl walking outside and scared that she's gonna run into some nonsense between two gang rivals in a park because she's playing on a swing. F that. Bring all the gentrification you guys need, guys. Let's make this work and let's understand one another, because that's the only way we're gonna interact. Why the rich are the rich? Why we are where we are. If you can close that gap with basic human interaction, that's what happened with me. I started being exposed as the neighborhood kid to multi-millionaires, mentors, searching YouTube. I got my master's in YouTube and my master's in Google. I searched for information that I was hungry for because I wasn't getting into school. We spoke about this before. The school education system is missing a lot when it comes to finances, and they're not teaching us taxes. They're not teaching us home ownership. They're not teaching us wealth building. They're not teaching us stocks. These are things that I'm teaching myself through books and mentors. And from 30 to 35, I've taught myself more than I did from my whole 12 years plus 2 years of college.
How did you learn about stocks?
Books. Just books, reading books, being hungry for more knowledge and books, and implementing what I read. Because I can't just be a soaker of knowledge. I have to implement what I'm learning, right? If not, then what am I preaching? It's that simple. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I do the same. I say the same about entrepreneurs. I can lead you to the edge. I can give you all the tools. I can give you a parachute. It's up to you to jump, and nobody else can make it.
Yo, when you say you coming here and speaking today is trying to give people in the local community the opportunity to take advantage of real estate.
Yes, man. So if I can reach one person to become a real estate agent and see what we have to offer, if I could get one person to take that tax money and invest in their first time home, if I can get one person to just look at real estate and want to learn it and do home run it, then I did my job, because that's what happened with me. I got introduced by accident, almost on accident. I just, 10 years, again, my background, 10 years in the post office, it was literally the same-ish every single day. And like I said, offering a 22-year-old $60,000 a year, you know, growing up in a 9-to-5 home, my parents both worked until I was 16. Well, I lived in a 2-parent home until I was 16. They separated, but both my parents worked 9-to-5, rent all the time, you know, and, you know, off the boat Puerto Ricans in essence. And I like to say that, and the reason because it was, you know, there was disciplines, but there wasn't financial wealth teachings. And I saw my dad hustle, like not drugs, but like just hustle to make, you know, ends meet. You know, awesome lad didn't, you know, come up in a home of anything crazy or anything like that. And you know, I took on and I gravitated to the hustle part, the hustle mentality. You know, and then in turn, I introduced to real estate and it was like off to the races. I already know what I want to do with the next 10, 15 years of my life. I really genuinely want to become a developer. You know, and I'm not in New York City. I think New York City is just too much in this playground, too many kids here. I want to take my knowledge and not only be a developer and just make buildings. I want to do these things, offer these kind of, you know, programs and speaking engagements with more and more people to make them, you know, interested in what's going on in real estate.
Open their eyes.
Yeah, man, New York City, man, we have so much. Like the Wealth Report just came out, a Douglas Elliman Wealth Report. So Wealth Report, they do a whole world financial analytics. And New York City came in #1 in every single category, from lifestyle to 6-figure income earners to family incomes. We're literally #1 in wealth. So why in such a small 5-borough community are 90% of the New York natives not taking advantage of what's going on in New York City? Dude, if you grew up in Astoria, what's going on in Astoria? If you grew up in the Bronx, what's going on in the Bronx? If you grew up in Queens, you grew up there, bro. Nobody can explain that place better than you can. Yeah, they can maybe be a little more intellectual about it, you know, and because they have some experience as an agent in the neighborhood, but they're not a neighborhood person. That agent may have grown up in Brooklyn. I'm not saying all agents, because there are some agents that are beasts, and they are from the neighborhood. You're not going to take it away from them. It is what it is. But the benefit is there. The benefit is there in just you understanding where that supermarket is, where that bodega is, where the hangout spots are, where the nightlife is. Everybody want to hear that, man. When you're buying $1 million apartment, $2 million apartment, I want to know where everything is. Okay? Tell me where everything. Be my guy. So.
What would you say has been the best example of an area that, you know, I know you don't like using the word gentrified, but
no, gentrified. Say it. Call it for what it is, bro. Ace is an ace, bro.
All right, there you go. It's been like gentrified, but that hasn't displaced as many people as like maybe the Lower East Side or like Brooklyn. I'll
say Bronx is still growing, and Bronx has a lot of benefit to it. If you're from the Bronx area, I see a lot happening in Long Island City and Queens. Long Island City, people were displaced, and it's crazy because that place was just, I mean, next to Queensbridge, it was just factories. It was like little huts and homes that people probably got bought out for hundreds of thousands of dollars, if that.
And it's funny because that's how it was in Williamsburg for a long time.
Oh man, Jesus Christ!
I remember hanging out over there, and it was just like all factories.
Yeah,
same place where I used to hang out. Like,
and now the factories are multi-million-dollar loss.
Yeah,
you know, because somebody had the vision for it. Somebody understood that this fixer-upper, this, it's like my man Jay-Z said, I could have put, you know, a $5 million building in Dumbo. Now it's worth $25 million. Look how I'm feeling. Like, that's real. This is the benefits of, like, I even tell my mom, like, damn, you don't want to buy like that co-op over there. That's worth like $1 million, man. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, we're in a good position now because, like, where I live, we're part owners, but it's not the same as like these guys that are bought in Seward Park. I tell you this much right now, these guys are reaping the benefits of what's going on in Essex Street crossings. Forget about it. I have a whole campaign trying to reach out to everyone in Seward Park. Just putting it out there like, hey, listen, guys, you want to check your property evaluations within the next 2 years, bro, because what's going on in Essex Street crossings,
Target, Trader Joe's, movie theater.
And then not only that, but Target did something with the city where they are also fixing up every single city park. So if you notice that the parks are being fixed up, it's part of everything that's going on with nonprofits and Target and everything that's going on with Essex Street Crossings. So, you know, the neighborhood is benefiting, the kids are benefiting. It's just time for the people to wake up and start benefiting, man. And they're everywhere. There's no one specific neighborhood, dude, like everywhere. So where are you from, if you don't mind me asking?
South Bronx. Well, that's where like my family, everybody grew up.
Yo,
like,
man.
I also grew up on the Lower East Side, so I've been through all 5 boroughs.
Yeah, so like, listen, man, there's opportunity there. There's opportunity. You just have to look around you. You can't be afraid to, scared to talk to people and ask questions. The same way you're here, clearly you're not. But the same way you're here, it'll put you on a good financial planning path, bro. So seek the benefits. I know the gentrification is rough. Trust me, man. I get it. I had a lot of people, friends of mine, who are being displaced and whatnot. But it's part of life, and it's the cycle, and it's time to just wake up and make this money, man.
If you don't mind me asking, how much do you make in real estate?
You can make anywhere. Okay, so I was just telling them, you can make anywhere between $0 and you can make $1 million. And the reason why I say it is because you are your own boss. You're making your own income with how you build your business and you build your relationships. I take my brand very seriously. I love meeting people. I love giving out these free, talks, because in essence, it's giving out information for people to engage with me and what I do. So yes, you can make $0 and you can make $1 million. It's really genuinely up to your hustle. I was just telling them but there's a woman in my company who just sold a $124 million property. So you do 6% of that. I don't even know what, I can't even do it off the top of my head. 6%. So 6% of 100 million is 6 million. So she's making over 6 million on that thing.
So is that the general percentage that sales agents?
Yeah, anywhere between 4 to 6 is the range of whatever the sale is. So if you sell my first $1 million home, 6% of that, which is like that'd be 30,000, 40,000, something like that.
So you work on commission basically?
You're definitely working on commission based when it comes to sales or something like that. I mean, when it comes to sales and rentals. So rentals is your bank money. I like to say that because rentals are, you put them there and they pay you right then and there. Sales, those take a little bit more time. They have to go through litigation and lawyers and mortgage professionals and everything like that. So those usually take anywhere between 2 to 3 months to close. But you're seeing big chunks of money. So if you're smart, make sure that you're saving a little money and you're investing a little money and you're putting money back into your business. You don't ever get to keep any money. The first 5 years, bro, just think about hustling and eating peanut butter. Unless you get a $100 million sale, then take me out for lunch, man. But yeah, man, it's taught me so much, man, and hopefully somebody out there.
So how important is the network in real estate?
Network is everything. Network is everything. Your network will determine your net worth. Is literally the slogan that you should use. You want everyone. You want all your lawyers. You want your mortgage professionals. You want your everyday clients. Your forever clients. Like when I say forever clients, when you meet a client, make sure that you're going on your first date. You are head to toe, you are presentable, you are professional, and you are valuable information for that client. Because there's 6,000 other agents ready for that client. All right? You're not the only one. You're not the only one. Everyone wants that client. Okay? So the way you separate yourself is personal. Again, I'm always keep on saying this, but human interaction. Right? Show them your charisma, show them your experience, show them that you want to be there, and give a great first impression. Love what you do. I love what I do. I don't work on it. This is not work for me. It's just fun. So, yeah, definitely that, man. So, I guess if anybody has no other questions? Well, guys, what was growth and goals, guys? Anybody? Yes, I'll give you guys my information. Anybody watching, I know this is being recorded. My name is Josh Pizarro, Douglas Settlement Real Estate. My number is 646-659-5161. Again, I'm searching for interns. So if you guys feel like you want to learn a little bit more about the real estate industry and you want to work for somebody for free. No, it's not free. Listen, I say free, I say it jokingly, but you're going to get so much information from this. It's going to set you apart from paying $50,000, $60,000 a year for college. But yeah, so Josh Pizarro, Douglas Elliott Real Estate, 646-659-5161. You can also follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook at The J Team Brand or The J Team. That's myself and my partner. We just give out a lot of valuable information. We also have a podcast on iTunes.
What's the website?
No website. So we are on iTunes, SoundCloud. So I don't know if you really listen to like podcasting or Facebook. Facebook, The J Team Brand. You can follow us there. You'll see a lot of our content there.
We got a last minute question.
Yeah.
Okay, from George. George, what's going on? What is the timetable of recouping your money back when you invest in a 2-family home to rent to another family or families?
Good, smart question. Okay, so depending on how fast you put in a tenant in, so you can take anywhere between 2 weeks, a week, 3 days, a month to get a tenant in there. But remember, your first tenant isn't going to be paying your whole mortgage. They're going to be paying a part of your mortgage. So that tenant, you're still coming out of pocket. I mean, so your reap on benefit is really the hold while you're renting. I'm going to say your appreciation value, you start seeing it around the 5th to 6th year. Usually you start seeing your property values, be worth more than what you paid for.
Yeah.
If you were smart in your investment and purchased in a good market, which again, your mortgage professional, your real estate agent should know some of your real estate trends, market trends. So market trends are important. Market trends meaning there's a park coming up, if there's, a theater coming up, if there's, those things that are happening over here, anything happening over there in Jersey City or wherever you are making your first investment, that will determine how much your property value will go up within the next 2 to 5 years.
Oh, George, was that good? Oh, he wants to know what's your Instagram too.
Oh, Instagram is businessj_. I put a lot of content out there. And I'm also going to be putting up a Q&A section on my Instagram where I'm going to be accepting a lot of DMs from people that want to know a little bit more about real estate. Put your Q&A or your question onto a live broadcast or I'll just speak on it. So that way everybody can get the information on, whatever it is that they want to know about real estate. And just mind you guys, there are some nuances, there are legalities that we as your agents are not allowed to talk about. So some of the legal questions, I can put you through to a lawyer so that way you can ask those questions. But when it comes to market and trends and, pricing and stuff like that, I can help you with.
What are the advantages of, like, for example, we got somebody who wants to buy their first-time homeowners.
Okay.
And they have 2 options, a condo or co-op.
Lovely question. I'm glad that was brought up. So, co-ops. Condos, well, let's start off with co-ops. Co-ops tend to be less money when you're purchasing than a condo. Reason being, a co-op has a board of 3 to 5 people, let's just say. They sit and they go through your finances extensively. I mean, your agent pretty much is going to ask you for everything except for DNA. That's how deep they get. Like, they might ask for your first child, like, seriously. And some co-op boards are not as, deep. They don't go into your finances that deep. It's fairly easy, board approvals and whatnot. So depending on your co-op, a co-op can be beneficial. There are some co-ops that you can purchase for cheap. They need some renovation, but you can rent out and stuff like that. So it really depends on if they want to purchase to live or they want to purchase to rent out. Now, to rent out, I'm gonna say if you have the money for a condo, go condo. And the reason why is because you are your own landlord. You do not have to follow any rules. Well, besides building rules, you don't have to follow any rules to a board. So a board can say, hey, you can have a tenant here for 2 years, but no more than 2 years. After that, that's it. Condos, can't tell me that. I can rent that out for 20 years and reap the benefits later on when I sell it. Co-ops, they tend to be a little bit more, have a lot more rules.
Co-ops are the ones that you have to have, everybody has to approve.
Yeah, everybody has to approve you. And if one person doesn't like your face, they can tell you no. No, that's how serious it is. And so if you're not that kind of person that wants to sit in front of like an interview process, condo, but there are some benefits to co-ops because there are some co-ops that just don't. They have a very lenient board approval, and they don't have any rules as far as like having a tenant there for X amount of time. So if you can find a co-op like that, those are beneficial.
So also, when you're selling a co-op or condo,
Yes. So when you're selling a co-op and a condo, again, it goes down to the co-op board rules. So for instance, I'm actually selling a co-op on in the East Village at 10th Street. This co-op is very nice, but we can't pass $500,000. We can't list it for over $500,000. And the reason being is because it's an HDFC ruled building. So HDFC rules only allow for a certain amount of income to be made by the purchaser. So this particular unit that I'm selling, my purchaser, whoever comes in and purchases that apartment, can't make over $140,000 a year. And if they do, they're not qualified. Now, there's also co-op rules that have purchase rules. So purchase rules meaning you are making, let's just say 100,000, right? But you don't have the money to put down on a mortgage. But mommy and daddy, they have some solid money. They want to give you the money. Some co-ops, they don't allow that. They want to know that that money's coming out of your pocket. Other co-ops, totally cool. Put little Johnny here, that's fine. He's in school, he doesn't need no money. That's fine. But it really depends on the co-op board to make it as simple as possible. Co-op boards, they're the ones that choose everything when it comes to a specific co-op.
so we got, what is your jurisdiction for clients who are interested?
I have no jurisdiction. I like to work with all clients. Right now, I am working, so perfect. I have a seller who I just sold his apartment again, a co-op, another co-op, on 10th Street in East Village, and now he's looking to purchase in Westchester. I totally cool with that. So I reached out to a couple of our agents in Westchester and said, hey, send me some $500,000 homes, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and I need 2-car garage. And they sent me it, and then we're going to see 5 houses. So no jurisdiction. And if it's if it's out of state, I can reach out to whatever state you're in and get some of our best agents on board for your purchase. So
Another question this is from George again. George is also director of the team program at Boys Club.
okay, nice.
He wants to know, would you be willing to go to Boys Club to talk to their families as well?
Absolutely. I'm willing to. Anybody out there watching, if you guys need me out there to talk a little bit more about real estate investment and purchasing, please reach out to me. I'm going to give Marty my email. My email is joshua.pizarro, Pizarro.
Joshua Pizarro?
Yeah, joshua.pizarro.
At what?
And that's at Elliman, ELLIMAN. Yeah. ELLIMAN. Yeah, and if you guys reach out, I'm sorry.
Yeah, .com.
Yeah, .com, yep. Yeah, if you guys, anybody out there, if you guys have any questions, if you're not ready, but that's fine. Let's set you up, with a credit specialist. Let's set you up with, TD card services or something like that. Wherever you guys are, we can definitely help you along the path because that's what we're here for. We're not here to just say, come on in, $1 million buyers. we're ready to help. No, it doesn't work that way. We're building our network.
Exactly. So everybody watching, you can start the process now.
Yes.
And work towards it and get yourself in an amazing position.
And set a plan. Definitely set a plan. Your agent or whoever you choose to work with, should just have a path for you, a nice solid blueprint. They can't walk you through the whole thing because there's some things that you have to do yourself as far as saving, as far as, fixing up credit and stuff, but the process is doable and your agent or your professionals should be able to walk you through every single one of these steps. So thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, everybody.
And again, Josh Pizarro, talking about real estate, J-Team brand across all platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Jesus, we're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Oh man. Yeah, and big shout out to 3 Lens Media. Those are my production guys. So they help me out with a lot of my video content.
So if anybody want to watch this will also be available on the YouTube channel of Growth and Goals. You can check it out there, and we'll also shoot it over to Josh so he can put it on his platform.
Yes.
So it will be available everywhere for you guys to watch and stream and enjoy, and come up with questions. If you have questions or you're interested in getting Josh involved with your real estate dreams, by all means, make that happen.
Add me to your money team, guys.
There you
I
go.
want to be a part of the money team too.
You said on Facebook is JT.
Yes, the JT.
Take it easy, everybody.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
JT brand?
Yes, the JT brand across all platforms. It says either the JT or the JT brand will come up regardless. JTB on iTunes and all that.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Follow us, Growth and Goals, and www.growthandgoals.com. Thank you.
So they need